Alright, well, greetings everyone out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to another video. Today, this video brings me back over here to Douglasville to look for more of the remains of the Pennsylvania Railroad, and also some more remains of the Schuylkill Navigation System, more specifically the Girard branch of it, as it's called through this area here that I recently learned. So I'm just off of 724. I'm actually in a little park here. This is called Union Meadows East, and it's a little park here that the township has, and there's some trails that circle around the park here, but it also leads you over to the Schuylkill River Trail, or the Thun Trail section of it, which is along the old Pennsylvania Railroad. So what I'm specifically here looking for today is, again, I'm looking for some remains of the canal, but I also want to see if there's any remains of the railroad and where it went back to a quarry back in the day, back in, I think, when I looked at the satellite or aerial imagery of this area from back in the 40s, it was like 1946. It showed a spur going off of the Pennsylvania Railroad back to a quarry, which is now part of the French Creek State Park. So we're going to see if we can find where that spur went off. Although this may not be a good time of the year to be doing it because everything is green and, you know, overgrowth and everything. So depending on what we find today, we might have to come back here in the fall or winter when everything is dead. That way we can look around and see if we can find the remains. So let's get this little hike started. So this is the parking area here, and they do have, I believe they have restroom facilities there. There's a little library over there. Some benches here for you just to sit and do some bird watching. But the trail does wrap around here. I believe this might be part of it that wraps around. The back here goes out along the river and then comes out over here. So this is my first time here. I don't know what I'm going to find or how long the video is going to be for that matter. So, but we'll walk around here and see where things start from. This is just one of the information placards here. I guess this area right here where I'm at is actually called the rain garden, and if you want to read more about it, you can pause the video there and read the information. This is another information board here. This is talking about the MidAtlantic Highlands and what that's all about. It gives you a map down here at the bottom of the Highlands Trail Network. Here it tells you information about the township, and we're in Union Township over here. There's some picture there of them cleaning up the river. I believe they're actually dredging it because of all the coal sediments that got deposited into it coming down from the coal regions. If you saw some of my other videos, I do have one where there's a where I went and filmed a the Silton Basin down there in Chester County, and I'll put a link to that up there in the screen. And here's information on the Schuylkill River Transportation and the Schuylkill Navigation Company, and some pictures of the canal. And we actually did find the canal, although you might not be able to see it that good, but it is right here. There's a little bridge, a couple bridges here that cross over it. And most of the canal was probably destroyed. I filmed a section of it last year. There'll be another link for that video called the Allegheny Aqueduct, I believe it was. It was up on the other side of Birdsboro, but the information for it will be up in the top of the screen there. So a lot of the canal, when it ran down through this area, was destroyed when they built Route 724, but some of it still exists to this day. And I'm sure it was a little bit wider than this, but this is the remains of it right here. I'm sure it was wider and deeper back in the day, but it continued on down through there. So to get to the rail trail, you actually got to walk up along this little pathway here across over 724 to get to the section of the trail that we're going to explore today. And we're coming up on the crossing here where the railroad would have crossed over 724. So we're going to be venturing down that way, but if I spin you around here, you can see where the railroad actually would have went straight across, and there's no remains of it anymore, but it would have continued straight on across to where that car is, back through the clearing, through the trees there. Alright, so we found some of our first remains here of activity along this line. You can look, it's either a cement wall or a foundation there for something. I did find some railroad ties laying off to the side when I started walking down the trail. Not quite sure what this would have been here. There's some more of it back there, and I know this isn't the best time to be filming right now because of everything being grown, but that's clearly visible. And like anything else, when you're on a trail like this, stay on the trail, don't venture off it, because there is numerous private property signs and no trespassing signs. And yes, there is some hunting done along this trail because it does butt up against the French Creek State Park. So during the fall and early winter months, just keep that in mind if you're out here hiking. So they do have some benches along the trail here for you to stop and rest. And we actually missed the spur that I wanted to look for, which we'll get it on the way back. That branched off of this and went back to the quarry. I got a little bit to go here before we come to the dead end of where the construction begins, and the trail dead ends for now. But so far, no other signs of the existence of the railroad. And so there's one of the mileposts that's along the whole trail here. We just came down from that section, and this is what we run into. So this is the construction that's going on to put the bridge across 724 so you don't have to stop and cross traffic. And one of the bridges that I was looking for is actually right here, because I believe this is Sixpenny Creek that's below me, which I did another video on the Sixpenny Abandoned Water Park about 1.5 years ago, and I'll put that link up there in the corner of the screen also. But we'll see if there's a way we can get around here safely, see if we can check things out, because there is, I'll zoom in for you, that wall that's right there that you're seeing was the original bridge abutments for the railroad. And from what they were saying, I guess they were covered up for 110 years or something like that. And they recently unearthed them when they started construction on this bridge. So they are going to keep that the way it is right there and sort of preserve it, which is pretty cool that they're preserving part of the history of the railroad. So there's one of the culverts. There's Sixpenny Creek goes under Route 724, and unfortunately there was no easy way of getting you a view of the bridge here that I'm on. Just can't get around without walking down there along the highway, and that's not a safe thing to be doing there, walking along the highway. It's a little too busy for me. All right, so there's a look at the new bridge. So the railroad actually would have went like right across that way. All right, so here's a view of the bridge that's being constructed going across 724. And right there, we'll walk over there and check out the abutments from the original bridge. But the other ones, they were briefly uncovered. They were right about here somewhere. They were unearthed briefly before covered back up again for the construction process. All right, so here's a view of the original abutments. So this part here they're going to preserve, but from the information that I found on the internet, these things have been covered up for 110 years. And they were just recently unearthed. So you can see where the trail would have crossed right there at the road. They had the markings there, but I think we can get up top and get some other views from up there. But that's just neat. Alright, so we made it on the other side, and there's some more of the rocks from the abutment that I guess they're going to preserve and just leave them sit right there, or maybe line the trail with it once the construction is done. But we could safely get through there because it's obviously a weekend. There's no construction going on, so I was able to get across safely and get to the other side here. So I'm not quite sure what this would have been used for. Maybe this was some form of electrical foundation for an electrical box or something like that. There's another piece right there. I know this did have, you know, signals and everything, and the telegraph wires or whatever you want to call them running along it, but I believe those might have been pulled out in the early 50s. As the tracks for this particular area and the bridge back there that goes over Sixpenny Creek, there were still tracks on it in 1983 yet. If I get a chance, I'll show you the picture that I found of that. I know this probably ain't going to show up the best here right now because it's overgrown, but right there's the canal. So that would have traveled through there and would have passed under where those bridge abutments were that I showed you. So this is the remains of the Girard branch of the Schuylkill Navigation. Alright, so here you can see the canal coming out, and pretty much dead ends right here. There's a railroad tie down there, but the canal would have been somewhere right along here where this construction is. Would have crossed right in this area somewhere. Alright, my apologies for the noise, but I was able to get safely off to the side of 422. There you can see the the bridge that took the railroad across Sixpenny Creek. All right, so coming back over here and looking at this more and where the canal would have went, I'm almost certain that that culvert there was actually an aqueduct for the canal to go over the Sixpenny Creek. Just by the way the canal is in close proximity to this area, I'm pretty sure that that would have been an aqueduct there at one time when the canal was there. All right, so here's some more information on the Schoolkill Highlands. If you want to stop the video there and read that information, you can. And also, if you come here, if you got a smartphone, you can scan those QR codes there and it'll give you information on it. So we're going to venture back this path right here, which I think leads us back to onto the grounds of the French Creek State Park, and we're going to go back there and see if we can find remains of the spur that ran off the railroad just a piece ways up there, which we'll look for it on my way back out. But I want to go up here and see if we can find where the line ran back to one of the quarries that's back there on the grounds of the state park. All right, came up this trail, and we're now on the grounds of the French Creek State Park. I'm not quite sure what trail this is, but we came up from the river trail down that way. So we're going to venture back down here because I brought up my overhead photos of the area, and I figured out where the spur of the railroad crossed over here, and I actually passed it. So we're going to walk back down here and see if I can find the remains of it. All right, so I came back down the trail and I found, pretty sure, where the railroad was, and it is right there. So obviously you can't go over there and explore that more because that's obviously private property there, but somewhere in this area here, and I'm guessing it's right there, and traveled here and went across here somewhere, but I'll have to come back here in the fall or the winter when everything's dead and see if I can find the signature of the railroad bed through the woods there. But the reason I know I'm on the right track is if you look at the ground here, it's got that typical black dirt that you would see along a railroad bed. All along here, there's nothing but coal remains right there. This whole area here, it's all black. So that's what leads me to believe that this was the railroad bed here. So that'll be a adventure for another time to come back here in the fall or the winter, but we'll go back out on the trail and see if we can find where it split off from the main line. And one thing I noticed as I was getting ready to leave here, if you look right there, that actually looks like a contour raised up a little bit of where a railroad bed could have been, but I won't know for sure until everything's dead. But you can still see all the black pieces or black fine coal silt that's there. All right, I'm pretty sure I found where the spur would have went off, but again, it's not going to show up too well on the camera. But if you look through the clearing right about here, you can see it's flat, and you got the cutout there going up the hill. But this is where it would have branched off to go back to the quarry. And again, I'll have to make the trip back here in the fall or the winter, and maybe bring some of my friends with me and have a couple more set of eyes here. But like I said, the camera's not gonna show up, but it was basically right here is where it would have branched off and continued on through. So mission accomplished for finding what I wanted today, but this is definitely going to warrant a revisit here in the future. One thing that's nice, if you come over here and explore this section of the trail and you get hungry, down there's the parking area, but right here is an eating establishment. So Matt PG, you see this video and you decide to come over here and explore this trail with me, maybe in the fall or the winter, we'll definitely have to check this place out to eat. All right, so that is going to wrap it up for this video. Today was a big win. Like I said, found the canal, which is right behind me here. Found more remains of it. Got to film the construction progress of that bridge, check out those abutments that have been buried for 110 years, and find that spur. So again, I'll be coming back here in the fall when everything's, dead and there's no undergrowth going and everything, because it's basically pointless to walk around and explore this part of the park here right now with everything grown. So I did find the canal and I know where it's at, so when things are dead and it's cooler out, we'll definitely be coming back over here and re-exploring this area. So thanks for coming along. If you enjoyed the video, give it the thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button down there, and also the bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos to YouTube. And thanks to my new subscribers that just subscribed within the past couple days there, so thanks for checking me out. Hope you enjoy the videos. So until next time, it's have a ball and do it all. We'll see you soon.